My wife says I need to be more charismatic, or I want to feel more in control, more powerful, more charming. So, how do I do that? And I'm hoping that that's going to make me less needy, trying to get what I want, right? More affection, more connection, more love and relationship with my wife. But it feels like I'm behind on charisma. We're going to talk about that today. Cynthia and I have hosted the C Note show, and we have for over 3 years. We teach how to love and lead with mojo like a king as a man. Because in modern relationship, you want to have deep connection. You want to have a divine depth and connection together in relationships. That's what Cynthia and I teach. She also, of course, wants to feel safety and inspired and your sexual leadership, and you want to avoid big mistakes. So those are the things we talk about here on the C Note show. How to be more charismatic and less needy. Well, what does charismatic mean? Maybe charismatic is just, okay, I'm physically attractive and that's really all that I need. That charismatic, does that mean charismatic to you? Maybe I know who I am. And so this man with the white t-shirt on the left seems as though he's pretty comfortable in himself. Doesn't look like he's pandering to societal norms, let's say, or anything like that, right? He's not there trying to placate, it seems. He's showing up as he is. How about the man on the bottom with the guitar? And he has a cross around his neck as well. Maybe he's driven by, and he's looking up in this picture. Maybe he's driven by something more spiritual or musical. Or the man on the top right, a little bit more, let's say, modern, downtown. He's got sunglasses on, a smile on his face. So what does charismatic mean to you in the context of your life?
To me, it would be confidence in myself. I've had dates like every weekend now for the past 2 months. And just walking in there with confidence instead of, boy, I wonder if she'll like me, or I hope I don't say the wrong thing. I just kind of let it all hang out, I guess.
That's only acceptable in certain parts of the country to let it all hang out.
Yeah, when it's 95, don't have a choice, but
that's right. That's right.
No, not in that fashion, but just not being afraid of what they think of me, or even worried about or concerned about what they think of me. I'm just being me, and if they like it, cool. If they don't, so what? And that confidence, I guess, has given me charisma.
Sure. So how have you gotten yourself to that spot? We've talked before in the past, of course, but so recently with these dates and such, how have you gotten yourself to that point of confidence?
Just by doing it. You can't work on something if you don't do it. Mm-hmm. And, I'm on Plenty of Fish and Match now. And like I said, I've been having dates virtually every weekend. And when I first started this, I was nervous. I haven't been in the dating world in 3.5 years. And, but, then it just kind of clicked. I'm like, so the hell what if they don't like me? I want someone to, like me for who I am, not who I'm pretending to be. I'm just, I'm happy by myself, and, but so I'm not being needy, not trying to, be a people pleaser. I'm just being me, about the best way that I can put it.
Yeah, that's well said. I've been sharing this graphic over the past couple of weeks. It's called the results pyramid. And so you're giving yourself new experiences, right? Which is the bottom section of the pyramid, new experiences and gaining new beliefs in yourself that you don't need a woman to validate you necessarily. Like you're saying, you're happy with your own self. And so it's leading to this more charismatic, confident actions. And the results are that a woman can be attracted to you, the man that you are, or the results may be, hey, if we're not a match, that's fine. But the results aren't, okay, I'm becoming a people-pleasing nice guy that's pandering to her.
And doing this dating has also helped me build and reinforce my boundaries. And I met this girl 2 weeks ago. I took her out on my boat. Great way to meet somebody, put on a bikini top and let's go hit some waves and see what happens. And literally she was all over me. She liked my car, my house, my boat, where I lived, but there was just something odd about her that struck me. So I did a background check on her.
Nice.
And she ended up having 7 felony arrests.
Oh my goodness.
And had literally just got out of prison, which was why she was all over me, because she hasn't had anything in a while. I'm like, boy, we have a lot in common. But it was some things that she just said struck me wrong. And I've never done a background check on anybody before, but
Hey, you know
I'm
that
glad
now
I
that you
did.
mention it, how many I don't know. I've got a new task on my to-do list, felony background check. Yeah, thanks. Good stuff, man. Absolutely. Well, your boundaries. So did you say something to her? How did you enact a
Oh
boundary?
yeah. After I did the background check, I got a hold of her and said, because she wanted to meet again right away. And I was honest. I said, look, you threw up some red flags that caused me to do a background check on you. And I found out that you have 7 felony arrests. You spent time in prison. Some of these arrests were for violence. And I said, I have no place in that for my life, even though I'm sure you're trying to rehabilitate yourself, which is great, but it won't be with me.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah,
Yep.
we have to have boundaries, hills that we're willing to die on. Absolutely. What does charisma or charismatic mean to you? As I showed these pictures here, is it knowing yourself? Is it physical? Is it something spiritual? What does it mean to you?
Trying to be or being a compelling person. Of the billions of people that are walking around on this planet every day, what is it that makes it so that certain people gravitate towards you? And I think it's being a compelling person, kind of what it means to me. I think kind of a big part of that is people want to be seen and heard. So I think being able to be present with somebody, listening to what they have to say, listening with the intent to learn, I think goes a long way of being compelling. The flip side of that is being a braggart, somebody who just talks nonstop and is not giving that other person space to be themselves. So for me, I think charisma is doing those things that creates attractiveness with other people, being compelling in this human experience. And I think listening is a big part of it.
Yeah, that's well said. Have you questioned your charisma, how compelling you are in the world? Have you questioned that over the past couple of years? And where are you now?
Maybe when I was younger, I've naturally been in a business where it requires a lot of social interaction with other people. So I'd say in some respects, I am a bit introverted. I can be happy being alone. In fact, I've gone up to my cabin, I think it's the last 4 weekends in a row to just get away for time with me and the dog. And my brother's been, I enjoy some alone time, but I'm also comfortable being in a group of people in a social setting and engaging with them, having conversation. I enjoy learning new things or meeting people and having them share their experiences. It doesn't matter how old you are, you find out engaging in conversations with people, all sorts of interesting things. I also had an interesting question the other day. My youngest daughter had recently started dating, and I got to know the father, and he started opening up to me and to find out that he's a former rock musician.
Yeah.
And found some of his YouTube videos and stuff. It was just kind of interesting. You talk to the guy, you look at the guy, you see a man who goes to work every day and is providing for his family of 4 kids and trying to make it through life. But it wasn't that long ago the guy was on a stage performing in front of thousands of people and having rock videos done. It's kind of funny. I think that's part of the fun of the human experience is going out and meeting people and learning different things and being open for yourself to be able to experience that.
Yeah, very cool. This value of curiosity, the value of adventure
Yep.
that you put out there and you move toward. Yeah, good stuff. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yep.
Will
Yeah,
come in?
I'm here.
Yeah, fantastic. Have you been on one of our calls before? I'm not sure.
I've been on about 3 weeks ago. I came on and listened in. Driving right now, so that's why the camera's off.
That's okay. And if you're able to be safe driving, what brings you here? What interested you about this topic today, or where are you within your challenges here?
My challenges are the in-house separation for about 3 months. And about 3 weeks ago, she admitted to infidelity, and I'm processing that. I asked for space myself to process that. And within a few days, I stood up to her and told her that I would forgive her. And that just gave me some time to process, and we can work through whatever challenges we need to work through. So I'm still kind of a sponge at this moment.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I'd imagine, of course, it felt like your knees were taken out. You found this out.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
definitely.
it was a separation 3 months ago and then found this out only a few weeks ago. Do you guys have kids?
They're all older. They're out of the house, 20 years married.
So is there a question on the top of your mind? You said you're a sponge, and I can honor that, of course. But do you have a question, if you had one, to field that you wanted Cynthia and I?
I guess my one reserve right now is trying to get over I want to just walk away the flight or fight. And I want to challenge through that just to ensure myself that I'm doing the right thing. And I feel confident. As of late, probably 4 or 5 days, she's gone into the ice mode, very short, not very communicative. And I'm just holding my frame and being positive, still taking my space, and we're in separate parts of the house, trying to engage, in the normal chores around that. We have some animals. So I'm sticking to my guns as far as just doing the normal thing around the house. And our roles flipped. We moved down here just about a year and a half ago. And I'm now stay-at-home work, and she went and got a job. That's kind of where we've been encouraging her to get a job for years, as far as the kids and I. And so for the last 10 months, she's finally been able to be social and get out there and meet people. And I think that was a new adventure for her. And it's opposite for me. I feel stuck at home, and kind of that charisma that you're just talking about, the variety kind of got flat while we've been down here, just trying to get our feet nestled in the ground.
Yeah, of course. That makes absolute sense. So many of us through COVID and things, right? We're coming on the other side of that. And maybe we haven't practiced living our life again, having hobbies, friends, even honoring those things that are really important to us. Often we put those on the back burner. We shove them down on the to-do list, almost never get to taking care of ourselves, it seems.
So true.
So what are you asking yourself? Am I doing the right thing? What's the edge for you right now? Is it, okay, can we just not fight with one another on a daily basis? Or what are you wanting now with her?
More of just, I want her to be able to heal herself, because I feel her pain. I feel that when she told me about the affair, she obviously broke down, and she knows she made a terrible mistake. And I can feel her pain. I can feel her. So I'm trying to empathize with her and comfort her without trying to smother her. That makes sense. That's why I want my own space. So I can heal myself, and I want to kind of encourage her to do the same, but I'm not seeing that. And I don't think I want to see it. I want her to do it on her own and feel comfortable that she's doing that on her own.
That she's working on herself, that she's healing herself. And so this is a really great point, and brought up boundaries. We'll certainly get into more charisma, and I have a lot more to show today, but since you're here, with boundaries, that's a hill you're willing to die on. And so she's crossed a boundary within the relationship, a hill that you would have previously said. I think every man, if I've ever asked him, hey, on your wedding day, if I were to say, hey, she would cheat on you, would you stay or would you leave? I think every man would say, well, they would leave. And down the road, when we're in a relationship for decades and have children together, it's more complicated than just stay or leave necessarily. Where you are now, though, I'm going to cross my fingers and hope she does what I am doing for myself, or I'm going to cross my fingers and hope she does X, Y, Z, fill in the blank to fix herself. That's not very proactive for the relationship. There's you, there's her, and there's the relationship. You're not going to ask another person to fix themselves just for themselves. They have to have agency over their own desire. They have to want that, right? But you're talking about a shared space. You're talking about the relationship between the two of you. And I'm going to talk more about this today, actually. But I want to put the question in your mind, something that you can journal, a seed that can grow for you of what you do want her to do to step toward the relationship. Now that there's been a gigantic violation, because part of our nice guy tendencies is just to cross our fingers, and that's not a very, it's not a great strategy.
That's not very strong. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. So let me press pause. I'll ask Cynthia about this. I was just doing research on this morning too. Our female psychologist I follow is saying along the lines of, if you don't have a boundary, if you don't have hills you're willing to die on, then the woman by sort of definition cannot respect you, because she knows that she could mistreat you as a man and you won't do anything about it, basically. And what happens down deep in a woman's heart, in her soul, when she knows, either because she's done something or because I'm talking about myself in the past. So if she knows that she can mistreat you, what does that do for?
Yeah. And thank you so much for sharing. Recently been through in relationship that's so rugged, and I so respect the space that in your intention. Hey, the part of me just wants to walk up to the fire. I'm deeply compelled. So women have, it's a really interesting way they react to your boundaries, because you might set out a really firm boundary, a solid boundaries from a really grounded place, and you might get their action on the side and anger. You're trying to control me or you're judging me. And so it looks like, oh, I'm not giving her enough space or room to go. But the other side of that is if she feels that she can wiggle the riverbank set, even though it looks like freedom to part of her, it will feel kind of inside, almost like if she's the river in your riverbanks, it'll feel like the river of the relationship is caught up in sludge because she can't feel you. Women have this way of turning not being able to feel you as a man into disgust, and even her like freezing you a little bit. Can't remember if you said the past week or a few weeks.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a woman it's so weird, right? Because there's so many different layers, but I would say like layer 5 beneath what she's experiencing, she might be a little bit disgusted with the fact that she got away with this and she doesn't feel the only relationship now and going. Does that ring a bell with you at all or resonate at all?
Yeah, I see more of shame in her demeanor and her iciness. Just because we've always had that as a boundary for either one of us. We even wrote letters to each other before we got married 20 years ago about that would be the one deal breaker for us. And just the surprise, obviously that I had some assumptions from the 3 months prior that there was an emotional affair, and I was working on that. And then she, I could tell that she would just blurt out crying for a couple of weeks, and then she finally just, she told me, and I can just feel the shame and the embarrassment that she has. Only because we have boys and girls are older, and they look up to us. We're role models for them. That's kind of where I guess I caved and want her to identify the wrong, and then obviously I need to reestablish that boundary. But if it's something that I'm fighting against, then that's something I need to look at too. Like as far as if it's defeating the purpose of me forgiving her and then trying to work on it. That's why I'm kind of a sponge. I'm all over the place, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's great. You're in the right place, and I honor where you are. I want to add to what Cynthia said there. You had said if she can't feel you, she's sort of flooding. It's muddy. If she can't feel you. I think what you're saying is if the man backs away, she can't feel his intention. If he doesn't stand up for a boundary, it just doesn't feel like anything. It feels like he's waiting or backing from it. So she can't feel him. He's not standing up for what he believes. And so I'll say we can forgive someone, let's say spiritually, and forgive them as a person, that we want to forgive our own heart. We don't want to keep that anger, resentment in our own self. That's one level of forgiveness. The old relationship took a bullet to the head. And right. And so to say, well, I forgive you for putting a bullet in my brain, the other person wonders, how could you possibly forgive that? Now, I'm not saying that you should divorce her or run away, but I think, and this is from years of experience and speaking with hundreds of men and my own experience, I think what you want is a new version of relationship. You would want something that would be renewed, something from the ground up, because from the ground up is where you have to build trust, connection, and boundaries. So if you just try to go back and forgive her,
and that was established.
Good.
That our old 20-year marriage is done. It's over. And I said that. I said I need time, and we need to fall back in love with each other, or even this is going to be a brand new relationship moving forward.
Good for you. Good for you. And this is what I want you to think about for homework, which you and I can talk about one-on-one if you like. You can reach out to us if you like. But your next homework is, what do I want her to do in the relationship, in the healing space between the two of us? Like specifically what you would want her to do. So think about that. Good stuff. Thanks for being so open. And like Cynthia said, you're in a rough spot, and we honor you being here.
Thank you both.
All right, let's take a step forward, guys, into charisma, how to be more charismatic and less needy. I want to approach this from a higher level, a deeper level, a soul level, not just tactically. There's plenty of tactics on YouTube. Charisma on Command is a phenomenal YouTube channel where you can watch tactics all day, every day, if you wanted to. But to me, I want to go to the core of the problem. I want to go to the core of, well, how do we fix this? How do I be a different man with charisma, with confidence, not have to rely on tactics, but actually be that man? So charismatic, the definite Oxford Dictionary definition, charismatic, exercising a compelling charm, which inspires devotion. Or charming is pleasant, attractive, could be polite, friendly. or charm itself is you gain or influence by charm. You grow, you're in your influence, and you can delight those around you and control or achieve as if by magic. So we've got inspires devotion, pleasant, attractive. You can inspire the other person, you can achieve. So charming to me seems it's powerful. It's social integration. You feel powerful when you're charming. Helps you get your way, let's say. So here are the 3 key points we're going to go through right now quickly. I'll do this with Cynthia. How to be more charismatic and less needy. To me, first of all, we have to acknowledge in relationship with the woman, which is what we're talking about, how do you value external beauty? How do you value the external beauty of a woman? As a young man, I never asked myself this question. It just seemed either obvious or automatic. But how do you value the external beauty of a woman? Second point, what else do you value and hold sacred? Naming what else you value and hold sacred. And thirdly, what are you attempting to get from her or from an interaction from her? Of course, if you're trying to get, that's akin to being needy. So how do we look at this in a slightly different way? What about value? What's value the definition of? A person's principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what's important in life, regard that something is held to be deserved, important, worthy, or useful of something, or considering to be important or beneficial. So what do you value? What do you consider to be important or beneficial? What do you hold of high import or worth? How do you enact that within your standards of behavior? Let's say this is you on the left in the blue circle with the mustache, and this is her on the right on the pedestal. So this is going to lead to needy behavior, pedestalizing her, not having boundaries, nice guy, thinking that she should never be upset. And if she is upset, it's my fault. If I stand up for something, she's just going to push back and I'm going to cave because I'm putting her on a pedestal, seeing her as more important than me. I'm not worthy of being respected or equal in relationship. My boundaries are just blown over and I just have to take it. That's how it is. He's of more value than me. How about this way, right? This is more of controlling her. This is where like toxic masculinity come into play. We don't want that either. We want a level relationship where we feel equal and trusting and honoring of each other. Still masculine and feminine. Cynthia and I teach all the time. Still you're masculine, grounding, confident, and she's still feminine of wanting connection and open. Doesn't mean that the two of you don't hurt each other in relationship. We hurt each other accidentally, but there's also this idea of growing toward one another. Now, what else do you put on a pedestal aside from her, let's say, or what else is equal? If you're both on a pedestal, you value both of you. What else do you value? Maybe it's your children. Maybe it's your particular line of work. Maybe it's your spiritual connection. Maybe it's your time with friends, time alone, time at the gym. How about if I put this in a different way? If the two of you over here are on equal planes, you're in your masculine and you're learning how to do that. You've learned how to do that and why that's important. She's in her feminine. You can guide her more and more into her feminine, dropping her masculine, shielding her shells on the outside, and you can lead her into more healing the space in between the two of you. Over on the right here is a pedestal with, well, what is important to you? A divine, balanced relationship, your kids, your work, your spiritual beliefs, your spiritual life, and your time. And those are things that you, quote unquote, put on a pedestal, but neither you nor her are on a pedestal. Your values, your beliefs are what you hold. So in this picture here, of course you would stand up for what's best for the relationship, this scale icon, healthy, divine, connected, healing relationship. Of course you would stand up for that more than her feelings or your feelings. Of course you would stand up for your children. Of course you would stand up for the work that you love and that you believe in and your purpose. Of course you would stand up for your spiritual beliefs. Of course you would stand up for your time that you spend at the gym, time together, time apart, time with friends. Of course you would stand up to those things in this picture. And this is what I encourage you to consider. So how do I be more charismatic? Well, it's not that obviously we're not putting her on a pedestal. Okay. We're not going to be able to be charismatic in that spot. We're not seeing as ourselves are better than her. And we're not trying to be an asshole and swing the pendulum all the other way. We want to feel on a level playing field, masculine and feminine, and that you do have other important values that you hear above just your short-term feelings or above her immediate complaint. You see beyond the complaint. You see the need underneath, or you stand up for what you believe in, even if she doesn't like it. So Cynthia, looking at this graphic here, how is this different than what you see billboard relationships? Hey, 50-50, and we don't really talk about hurtful things. We try to just cross our fingers and hope everything's going to work out, and I'll get promoted next year and everything will be fine. How is what we teach, how is this view different than the bland 50-50?
I mean, I really appreciate the visual of that. And I just want to put out there that I know sometimes shifting dynamic, even taking her off the pedestal and realizing that other things need to be on, very painful and settling. And even as a woman, if she experiences that shift, there might have unsettled because there's been a status quo, even though it's been kind of numbed out and unexciting. It's the same thing day after day. I would say when we fall into 50-50, when there isn't kind of this calibrated attribution or we value, women really start to experience relationship as unlong. They can't again really feel you even if you put them on, and they can't feel what you value, hold as sacred. And so for the feminine who really thrives on the ups down ceremony, marking time with you having important things and she having important things, and then you cultivating things together, relationships are sickly dull. That's when it's very easy for a woman to project onto something wrong. Something's not making her happy.
Sure. So give us some, if I share the screen again, what are some examples that keeps things inspiring or moves toward adventure, inspiration in the relationship? And when she sees her man moving.
Yeah, I mean, well, the first thing, I love the visual of it's not her on a pedestal. It's not very important energy you bring to that is exciting to a woman because she can value her, not the false facade that she puts on, just the exterior, not the if she acts perfect she'll receive your love, not that you really don't see her, that you really know experience and value of. And then vice versa, what you bring to the totally different her gives again, help women feel seen and understood. And when she all these other things, value of how you value your work, and the value of as an extra, has more meaning, specialness to it, and it's not just, which again utterly.
So what do you mean by her core? You said her core. Okay. So what does her core mean? It's positive things, but also shadow parts of who she is in her good and in her challenge. Not that she punishes you as a man for her challenges, but that you see value in all of the shade, good, bad, ugly. So say more about that, how she wants.
Yeah, I think women can be master shape shift because they're often trying to hide, and then they get angry at the people who are not. Heartache, at the masculine shadow, fiery. A woman really wants those at a very spiritual level to have purpose, and she wants to be an ignition, change, and she wants even her most down little girl self to be witnessed and to be an important energy to people. The worst is if she shoves that down or keeps living the story, and then years go, and then suddenly this thing that she shoved comes out.
Yeah. And so in our other videos and our one-on-one coaching and in our group coaching, we teach also the tactics of how to do that, how that she can feel, and you can bring her to be the ignition of adventure. And that all of these are seeds to grow the fruitful garden of within your relationship of her, of yourself. We have about 3 more minutes left on this call. If you're sitting there with a question, I want you to unmute yourself and come on in, please. What would you like to ask about this? We have here Cynthia here on this call, so jump on in.
I don't have a question, but who was talking earlier, who was sharing his experience. I just want to share with you, you're not alone. I know you're walking some pretty hard miles right now, and I've been in your position. I also discovered a relationship and was also living together with my wife during the separation divorce process, and I know how difficult it is. Just want to let you know you're not alone in that.
Yeah, thank you. All right, guys, maybe you have something that's too private for you and you want to reach out to us directly. Certainly post on the forum, reach out to me. You can talk with myself or Cynthia if you want to request one of us, right? Our website, greatmenmovemountains.com. Got lots of info there, links to our over 400 video YouTube channel, Great Men Move Mountain YouTube channel. Reach out to us, mountains.com/Facebook or Facebook. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week, same time.